Next, we will duplicate the importance, why, and how we conduct HBP, okay, home business presentation. So why is our home business presentation so important, guys? Okay, how many people are currently, attending or conducting a regular weekly HBP in your local area? Can I see a show of hands? Raise your hand, raise your hand. Great, right? How many people have realized the importance of HBP?
Yep.
So why and how to conduct HBP, home business presentation, for all of those new partners? Well, actually, we can put another word: successful. Okay, why and how to conduct successful home business presentation? We always start with the why, the selling. Okay, first of all, this is the best way to create duplication. Do we agree? Okay, just like what we just talked about, UBP is just like our public transportation. Okay, it comes on a set schedule, right? And you can, in Flushing, we know by heart that every 4th Tuesday, we have an English UBP in Sheraton. Every third Monday, we have an English UBP in the city. Every first Wednesday, we have a UBP Chinese in Sheraton, Flushing. So this is what? A system, right? It comes on a regular basis. However, if you only have a public transportation, can you be in full control when and where you would like to drive and which destination you want to go to? Okay, so you can also be more in control if you can drive your own car. Don't you agree? Be the own driver of your own vehicle. So the HBP is as if you have your own vehicle that can drive you how fast, where you want to go, whenever you want to go, and you can really create momentum. Okay, so this is duplication, which also creates momentum. It's all about leveraging. Okay, creating momentum, we need people, we need environment. Don't we agree? So when people come in to evaluate the business, how many people really understood the business before they understood, they like the people? Usually it's they like the people first, yes. They like the environment, they like the positive energy, then they like the pay plan. Finally saw the light, right? With the MPCP 100%. But here we can create momentum by really leveraging 10 people's 2 hours together. Okay? So by leveraging, how many people start this business building part-time? Almost all of us. Okay? So by leveraging, you can leverage 1 hour, 2 hours showing the plan, but you can invite 5, 10, 20 people. So how much production have we done if you had 10 guests sitting at the home business presentation? Then you have 10-hour leverage, 20-hour leverage. Does that make sense? Yes. So a lot of times when people think, how can I bring so many, how many people wants to bring at least 2 people to World Conference?
Yes.
2 new people, okay? If you want to even do more to finish the present challenge, we need to personally sponsor 6 UFO, and 2 out of the 6 need to activate. Okay, so that's 6 personally sponsored and 2 plus another 2, then that's what? 10 total new distributor. So people always think, wow, from now until World Conference, how can I bring 10 more people? It's very easy if you know how to create leverage. So we don't have to show what? It's usually 4-to-1 ratio. So you don't have to show 40 plans in order to what? Get to 10 success ratio, or you don't have to show 80 if your ratio is 8-to-1. Everyone's got different ratios. Does that make sense for recruiting? You don't have to show 80 plan in order to get 10 quality people. We simply have to what? Leverage the team environment. Okay? So when we bring people together, we get to really stay in control. Okay? This is basically just like like I said, becoming the own driver of your own vehicle. Okay? So stay in control. Who holds the marker makes the money.
Yeah.
That's the first stage. And who passes marker makes residual. Okay? So how do we stay in control? You know, a lot of people don't build this business on a consistent basis is because we haven't taught them how to build this business on a part-time basis. Right? First, you have to show up for success. Don't you agree? Then you get to learn what personal growth, then participate, then eventually own the skill sets. So a lot of times if people, like Wayne just talked about, if we don't see these new people for 2 to 3 times minimum on a weekly basis, then you know these people are barely surviving. And if they don't show up to the free events like HBP, home business presentation, then I guarantee you they won't show up to the GMTSS event. Okay? So this is how we maintain, retain. So the whole point of building this business is to retail, to recruit, right? And then so we can expand the team. But it doesn't do us any good if we expand but no retention. So the HBP is a critical step to maintain momentum, but also maintain retention. Okay? So we stay in control, creating leverage, and it's also a great stage to create duplication in terms of personal growth. Okay? Stage for team to develop personal growth. Okay, create more speakers. Quality speakers. Holding the marker. Does that make sense? And you know, every time, I think this is one thing that I've really done correctly since the beginning. I actually got into hosting HBP just because I was so afraid that the opportunity wasn't going to be there again. Because I joined the business and decided to really participate with conviction. And then we had events on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every single night. Okay? And suddenly one person, due to location challenge, and she couldn't start HBP anymore. Was I ready when I started hosting my own HBP? No, never. There's never somebody that was fully ready with the whole, duplication and then say, I'm ready to start an HBP. Okay, it's never because when you're ready, it's because you want it. And I wasn't confident enough to host, to show the full MPCP. But you know what? When that person said I cannot do Monday HBPs anymore, right away I said, I want it. I want Monday night. Okay, I want Monday night. So since I started until now, 9 years, almost 10 years, I've been hosting consistent weekly HBP on Monday night in Chinese. And then when the team started to grow, English team, every single Friday. There's no more Friday night happy hours. There's no more Friday night girls night out. Nobody invites me to anything if it's on Friday night. Because they all know I would never go anywhere on Friday night. Yes. Because that's clock in, clock out, my Market America HBP time.
Yes.
Right? Because this is one thing that built our Flushing team. Ms. Liu, for the past 17 years, ever since she started hosting Wednesday training, she has been to Jenny, her sponsor's basement. That was our first location. Then when Ms. Liu bought the first $1 million house, she started doing in Ms. Liu's basement. And then from there on, got so big, that's how we have every Wednesday booking location, paying for the venue in Sheraton Ballroom. Okay? So that consistency built her several $1 million. Do we all want that?
Yes.
I want that. So that's why I said I'm going to host it. So now our team have expanded. Our Monday night now is officially in Wayne's location. So every week, clock in, clock out. People already know the rhythm of doing Market America.
Yes.
They don't have to think when. Every day, calling. How much time do we waste? It's all about productivity, guys. It's all about time management. Everyone is going to call you. When is the next event? Oh, when we have a guest, we do a business presentation. Guess what? Then you're always going to be led by your team rather than you leading the team. Is it a tiger wagging the tail or the tail wagging the tiger? Okay.
Yes.
But do we always have all of the new people, the good environment when we first started HBP? No. It just starts with a few people, 2 or 3 usually. When there's nobody showing up, but you can't blame people not showing up, right? Because the quality is not there yet. Because the personal growth is not there yet.
Yes.
So that means, Ms. Liu has always said, if you decide to open an HBP location, Once you open, it can never close.
Yes.
Never close.
Yes.
But you know what? That's the kind of ownership we want.
Yes.
Right? To have our new people. The next thing is what I wanted to say is why we want to have HBP locations is to really have ownership. Well, I wanted to actually change the word. Duplicate ownership. A lot of people say, how do you create leaders? Don't we get that question a lot?
Yes.
Duplicate ownership and leadership. HBP location is the very first one. Okay, if you start a location, never close it. Never stop it. You know, even when I have to travel out to, build out of state or travel to do trainings, then our team leaders, we already have so many talents in the team. Everybody can become the host. Our training in the local area is always on. Okay, it's always on. So every new distributor join the business, we give them a weekly team schedule. Monday night, Chinese HBP. Friday night, English HBP. In New Jersey, every Monday night, every Thursday night, clockwork. They don't have to ask, they don't have to, think, people just show up.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how we develop part-time Market America schedule, and then they build with a rhythm, right? Just like people, JR says, if you treat Market America business a quarter as if you're trading your job, you would already be so successful. But sometimes people don't even treat Market America business a quarter as if they treat their job. Does that make sense? Because at the job, if you don't clock in, clock out, you're out.
Yes. Yes.
That's the first thing we need to do to develop a habit and that consistency with clock in, clock out in our Market America schedule. Okay, so that's why we need to have HBP. So how do we increase the quality? Like we said, in the very beginning, when we first started Penn State team, okay, before they even knew how to show the full plan, the 4 quadrants, they already started their location, and 3, 4, 5 pioneers in the team, right? Benson, a few partners, they just want practice with each other. Okay, you talk once, let's create, feedback, positive feedback. How can we improve together? That's how we started in New York as well. Okay, so it doesn't mean when there's new people we have, it's just what? We are always running, and people, when they feel the environment's too good to miss, and they cannot wait to bring another guest here. So that's the kind of environment we want. So it's always in the detail, okay? Preparation is the key. So before, it takes the whole team to really create that environment. So first, show up. Show up for what? For your own success. Okay, show up. It's that simple. The very first commitment I had with myself is, I don't care how late I get out of work. Every single event, I want to be able to tell everybody in their eyes, because I'm the kind of person that I want to prove to myself and prove the system right and wrong. Does that make sense? Because the system said if you show up at every single event to event, never missing one, 3 years later, you'll make residual income. Isn't that what the system said? So after my first, my second major convention, I decided to do really seriously with the business. I told myself, I'm very disciplined if I decide to, right? I don't care how late I get off work, I'm always going to show up to every single event. And I used to work in finance, so 80 hours a week, right? I don't get out until 9, 10, sometimes 11. But every time we used to start our home business presentation at 10 p.m. Because a lot of our partners started, like Chase, we used to do it in Chase's basement, okay? Our whole team always, appreciate what Chase used to do to have that location for our team. So sometimes when I get there, 11 or 11:30, our HBP is almost done. So how many people will hesitate if you should still show up? I hesitate in my mind too. But because I made that commitment with myself, I said, I don't care when and how late, I'm going to show up. Because I want to look into people's eyes. If you just show up to every event, 3 years later, you're going to make it. So even sometimes I get there, people are already doing meeting after the meeting. And I go in, say hello to everybody, but guess what? That kept me alive in the business. And that kept me consistent with that crazy schedule, and I realized how important this environment is, okay? So first thing you want to do to yourself and to teach the team is just to show up. Arrive early. When is early? Minimum 30 minutes ahead. In our Flushing team culture, if being on time is already late. Being on time is already late. It's always minimum 30 minutes ahead. Why? Because we can do so much when we arrive early. Okay? When we arrive early, we get to what? Introduce and promote all of our experienced senior business partner. Promote the team and promote the speaker. How many times we bring people on the dot or sometimes even late? When people come in, right? That's we used to all dress up in black suits. And everybody wearing a bunch of black dress shoes and all black. People are like, what is this, mafia? Walk into a room has like 50 pairs of like black dress shoes, and people come in right away. They feel what? Very reserved. They feel not connecting with the speakers, and the speakers don't know the background of our new guest. Guess what? They're just gonna do their presentation, but they don't know maybe this person is from a doctor background. Then when we talk about the products, we can be a little more scientific rather than just sharing. Right? If someone is a new young generation, then right away we can talk about why from a young person's perspective rather than a business owner perspective. Does that make sense? So when we show up early, who benefits the most? Ourselves. And what's really important is when people feel part of the team, they want to, the show-up ratio, success ratio is so much higher for the next follow-up.
Yes.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yes.
Because when people feel part of the team, they know each other, they like each other, and they want to show up to the next follow-up. And a lot of times people come back for the people rather than the business in the very beginning. So introduce and promote the team and the speaker. Don't get your people to just call people out. Hey Chase, can you come over? I have a new person I want to introduce to you. Do we do that? When you see a celebrity, when you see JR, do you call JR this way to help you follow up someone? Right? We may purge you. Not JR, we will. We have to show, right, who's the advisor. We're going to bring our new people. Oh my gosh, come. This is the lady that I was sharing with to you about, Angela. I really admire her. She's been a great business mentor to me. Very detailed, so caring, always about helping people. And when I started the business, she really taught me all the fundamental. And such a hardworking individual. Only a few years in the business already created so much success, right? And guess what? The person which you've already promoted, that new guest is going to feel so privileged to meet this person. So that ABC duplication starts from attitude, right? Attitude duplication also starts from the get-go. So promoting the team and speaker, we also get to what? Share products, have people drink the products, have a taste. How many people always look into the BV product presentation when we do HBPs, and then people feel like, ooh, what is that purple juice? What is that yellow juice? And people are like, I don't need to drink supplement with isotonic. But if people show up 30 minutes early, we all mix our cocktail with isotonics, right? Hey, happy hours. What do you do after work? You go to happy hours. Here's our very own happy hour with our isotonic cocktail. You stay sober, but you feel better than ever, right? So make it fun and alive. People drink. Everybody drinks. Cheers. Oh, they look at it. They'll try it. And then, it's better tasting than I thought. It actually tastes really good. And right away, that creates conversation. Oh, share testimonial. This is exactly why I started this business, because the products completely changed my family's health situation. I used to have allergy. My grandmother used to be on medication for diabetes. And share testimonial. Invite to different people, right, who have great testimonial. Share products. Can we also share dream board?
Yes.
At our HBP locations, what's on the wall? Hall of Fame, right? People who are, your team leaders, your team members, and also what? Your goals and dreams. So dream board, especially for young people, right? It's great to inspire them. Wouldn't it be great? What's your dream? Do you have a vision board, right? Do you have a dream board? So talk about goal setting right away. And can we also play some video? Like convention highlight. How do we sell the tickets? Why not share with them? Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe we just came back from this amazing 25th year anniversary at our headquarters, and look at this highlight video, right? So take maybe 5 minutes before the HBP to create a great, excitement, show the video, okay? So then they'll ask you, really? Is this a convention? When's the next one? Oh, what do you learn? So right away you set the tone to sell tickets. So if everybody knows each other, we create positive energy. It's all about the environment, don't we agree?
Yes.
And we can also remind our new partner, the new people, to manage their cell phone. Even cell phone, we have to teach people how to manage. How many people has been to Miss Liu's house? So in the basement, when we do training, okay, we don't have service. Okay, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, nobody gets reception. We did it on purpose. We cut out all the wires outside. Because we don't want people to use their phone, right? So if people are using their phone, what if somebody calls? If we did not remind them, most likely if they receive a phone call, they will walk out and then miss part of the presentation. And guess what? When people ask them, where are you? What are you doing? Oh, I don't know, I came with this friend. You know, she just told me to come, right? Lai. And then I went, I realized it looks like, you know, kind of like one of those things. So right away, people may get affected, okay? Not knowing the right information. So the speakers are always the ones that learns the most. Okay, we learn by doing. So the speaker's preparation also determines the quality of our training. Okay, so always for the leaders, a lot of times we pre-arrange our speakers. Okay, however, the speakers should always be ready anyway. Don't we agree? The fundamentals we practice on a daily basis. So if sometimes when you're ready, people look into the new guest. We always find out new guest background, and then we select the right people to do their 2-minute commercial. Correct? So match their backgrounds and connect. So if you're ready, the opportunity will come to you. So everyone can do training like this because they started with their 2-minute commercial, then showing part of the plan. Then eventually they can conduct the whole thing. So always stay ready, okay? And always plan ahead. That's what leaders do. They always stay ready and plan ahead. Always have ticket ready. Have all of the upcoming trainings. Can we have all the up training tickets? This is tonight we're doing the HBP, so we're duplicating material so you can pay attention to the details tonight. So we always have the tickets ready on the table, and we always promote the next one. Okay, so we promote not only for us in East Coast, we have so many events, right? Wednesday night, teacher Maggie, and then we have Dr. Ma in Chinese coming in September. We have English general product training, English local seminar, and all of that builds into our regional convention. And then we promote our Miami World Conference. Does that make sense? So all of these tickets, of course we have a focus, always the next event. So our focus for today and tomorrow will be Wednesday night, right? So our English speaking partners are also coming to general product training. Don't we agree?
Yes.
So these are the tickets we put out. Every speaker promotes. Human psychology, no one wants to be the guinea pig, and no one wants to be left behind.
Yep.
So if everybody is going to somewhere, they're curious, okay? So everybody promotes. But promote from your heart, right? What has the training done for you? How it has helped you to become the person today? So always stay on time, stay prompt, because when we say our presentation, usually HBP we have 2 hours. But our goal is to really have time to do 2-minute commercial in the beginning, and also to wrap up, everybody share at the very end what they benefit the most. Okay? So what interests you the most today? Business, products, or the business structure, or the team, or everything. So when everybody stands up, always start with an experienced person. Okay? So we can find out what the new people like. Usually when somebody says, I really love the training system, I really love the business model, the new people will also tell you what they like. So that helps you to follow up, okay? So time, prompt, and also record yourself. Who is the most important person to record?
Myself.
Really? Myself. Because a lot of people say, how do we become better at presentation? Guess what? Only you can find out the answer. By paying attention to what other people do and by practice. That's it, okay? So practice makes perfect. The next one, we have to bring energy and excitement. Energy and excitement and passion. What do you think? Why do you think JR can move 23,000 people? Like his passion, his belief, right? He's sweating through everything. So remember, he thought about taking off his jacket. He's like, oh, forget it. That kind of, he's not showing the business plan. We're doing all of that presentation for anybody but himself. Don't you agree? He's so into it, he's talking to himself. That's why we all feel that we can be, it's so impactful because he's talking to himself. So we also need to gain that kind of passion and belief. Also, engage the guest. Have some interaction, and also focus on the guests that are very engaged. It's a mutual conversation. Does that make sense? A lot of people try to convert the most skeptical and negative guests to become the most positive. Guess what? Doesn't matter how perfect you show the plan, the wrong person is the wrong person or wrong timing. So focus on the people who really want to get the information, okay? So if you don't talk, the speakers also have to make an effort to talk to what? Each individual guest. Introduce, find out what their background is. So when you do the presentation, you can gauge, right? So let's take a picture and I'll erase, or if you have already. Let's still take a picture and I'll erase half. We need a picture of everybody taking a picture.
Everyone.
All right.
Everyone.
Hold it up.
That's the learning attitude, guys. Love it. Okay.
Wait.
So don't be listening.
Thanks, Olivia.
All right. Okay. So, all of that is before preparation. Okay. Now let's talk about during HBP. During the HBP, obviously the host plays a big role in terms of creating the energy, getting everybody engaged and focused, and also to create that transition, set the stage for the next speaker, and also wrap up, bring in a few key points. So the speaker is more like a digestive enzyme, right? The speaker has to break it down and then give a few key points, and then also prepare for the next speaker to give good delivery. Because we drink enzyme before we eat and also after we eat, right? So the host is kind of like a digestive enzyme. Wow. So I'm yellow. Speakers have to stay during. We have to smile, nod, and stay engaged. How many people have been up front speaking? Whether you've done a 2-minute commercial or any type of speaking. Okay. What do you like to see from the audience?
Response.
Right?
Engagement.
That's why we say, It's so funny because this is, I guess, is a more Chinese way of expressing like yes.
Oh.
And but we are so naturally just like when we agree. But it becomes such a culture already. So I think one time I was training at Moving Up seminar, and Jim Winkler was talking, and I think Ryan Stack was sitting next to me. And I'm just so naturally engaged already. So whatever Jim Winkler says, I feel, inspired. And I'm like, And then every time Ryan's like, like, why you always It's like, it's not, I thought there was a cow next to me. It was like, But you want to engage and let the person know, and we're all average people. Okay, public speaking is not easy. So if we actually give the eye contact, look engaged. That's what JR corporate team, and also that's a little weird. Don't be weird. Eye contact. I can see your eyes pretty clearly. And so that really, especially new people. You know, sometimes when we listen, we don't pay attention how our facial expression is. And maybe we're listening very attentively, but we have like a frown face. Or some people like, wow. Very fascinating information. Or some people are like, maybe on the phone taking down some notes, but then the speaker may think you're just not, it's too boring. Maybe I'm just on the phone texting. Does that make sense? Every little detail will either encourage the speaker to become better, or you're really discouraging them to never want to speak again. That's how we create that duplication, right? So if you hear the audio, it's a lot of but don't be too weird, okay? Like not like every sentence. That's a little distracting in the audio. So it really, people want to be in a positive environment, period. I don't care where they are. Yep. And that reminds me, when we actually went out of the state to build, usually you start what? With 1-2 pioneers, right? The visionaries. And when you go, wow, some people can really invite people. So one time we were in Indiana, and this 2 new distributor really went on fire, and they brought like 18 guests to our very first event, okay? So, but it was so silent in the room. And you know, when us 3, so me as a senior business partner and another bridge, right? And we went to help the partners there, so C, A, B, C, 3 of us. And then whenever people are so excited, I'm like, yep, trying to create an environment. But 1 against 18, wow, so hard. I was like, yep. And then everybody front row, yep. I mean, I'm in the business longer, so I don't care. I'm going to still do what I'm excited about. But our new distributor...
Evelyn.
But then, Evelyn, that new distributor started, in the beginning was like, yep, with us. And then because it's also like people that he knows, right? And then he become, yep. And then zip, right? Didn't want to speak again. But really, just my point is, what we do as audience directly reflects how the people perform on stage. So our energy will feed off the quality of training. So that's why it's not just the speaker and the host that's doing their job to create the environment. A good, successful HBP requires every single person, including the people who didn't speak today, in order to have a successful outcome, okay? So just know that everyone has really important role in the HBP. So no cell phone unless you're taking a picture. Does that make sense? So we already talked about it, cell phone management. Okay? No cell phone, no talking to each other. A lot of times we're like, you know, sometimes the person is so involved in the plan. The A is speaking, the bridge is always what? Oh, let me tell you more about the product. Oh, look at the catalog. Don't talk when the speaker is talking. Leverage, okay? So next, of course, take notes. Because do you want your new business partner in the future to also have a learning mentality?
Yes.
Then you got to show them how serious you are treating this business, not just to tell them, hey, you should take notes. Oh, look at the FPCP, right? So we also have to draw the plan, take notes every single time because we show plan every day. Record. Okay? Record because we go home and duplicate. Also, find a purpose and always plan ahead and prepare to share what you learn the most when we do our meeting after meeting. So here's what we teach our team and do selling on. Right? If you know that we're going to do meeting after meeting every time, after each event, regardless if it's a product training, HBP, UBP, local, anything, then why not prepare? So some people feel like, how come I never get picked by other people, by the host, to speak? Because guess what? We can feel who's ready and who's not. Does that make sense? If you have learned and paid proactive attention, and then feel like I've learned so much, I really want to share, you already thought about what you want to share. That energy, the host can feel it. And the host wants to, we have to, as a host, we have to control the quality. We want to encourage new people, but we cannot damage all the rest people their precious time. So when we are put up there to share in the meeting after meeting, also plan ahead. Think about what you want to 1, 2, 3 bullet points, done. Simple, sharp, and sweet. Right? We want to be sushi, sashimi that's expensive and also what comes in small pieces, right? Simple, sharp, and sweet. We don't want to end up like Chinese buffet. You eat it once and you don't want to eat it again for the next 3 months. Do we have people like that? Speaker that you listen once, you're like, gosh, next time I cannot put this person up to speak.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But we have somebody that's so sharp, simple, passionate. Every time I want this person to share in the meeting after meeting.
Yep.
Does that make sense? So opportunity, we have to go fight for it ourselves. Okay? That's during. Where's the thing? So like JR says, the real meeting starts. The real meeting starts. Right? When the markers put down, the follow-up meeting after meeting is when the real meeting starts.
Yep.
So we have to what? Right away, follow up immediately. Usually the speaker and the host, because we are interacting with the new guest, you know right away who's your A-level, A-list, who's your B-list. Does that make sense? So zone in to people who are very engaged, who's got a positive attitude. Follow-up is always booking the next event, right? So have tickets ready. But we never sell our own tickets. Does that make sense? We never sell our own tickets. We always sell what? We always sell each other's tickets. Does that make sense? Because we need to leverage ABC pattern in terms of selling tickets. It's also for duplication purposes. Why? Because sometimes if I sell directly to my own guest, my guest is going to say, I'll get the ticket from you later. I don't have cash on me, right?
Yes.
Oh, why don't you hold on to the ticket for me? Oh, when I come to the event, right? Then I'll let you know later. Because they feel what? They know you well, they can say no to you whenever they want. And free has no value, correct? Sometimes they hold on to the ticket. If it's not paid, then it's not confirmed.
Right.
We don't sell tickets just to collect money back.
Yep.
We sell the ticket so that person will show up. So the whole process of the ticket selling is a vehicle to get them to the next event. Okay? So, because we don't make money from selling tickets, right guys?
Yes.
The ticket is the way to get them to get enlightened at the next event. So have the tickets ready and always sell someone else's. So for example, if I'm following up on my guest, what I'm going to do is not to bring my own ticket. Oh, here. Oh, by the way, I have an extra ticket. I have an extra ticket. Extra? That person's not extra. So why does that person wants to get an extra ticket, right? So the person doesn't have to show up if it's extra. Always urgency, right?
Yeah.
Urgency, urgency, urgency. It's always a what kind of event? It's all
Sold out.
sold out event. It's always a sold out event. And in New York, it's always a sold out event. And in every single other area, we will make it a sold out event. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because it's always a sold out event. People don't want to left behind,
Yep.
right? So, you know what? I'm totally out of my tickets, which is usually true. And I'm gonna have Helen. Helen, actually, do you have a ticket that we can actually borrow for now, right? And then so and so really wants to get to the next training, and the person is going to come here as AB, right? We're going to play tag team, sell the ticket, and she will help me collect the money. Okay? So cash, Venmo, or check. I'll talk about that later. So promote the next event. Or big team training. If there's no GMTSS training right away, always 24 to 48 hours. Does that make sense? So promote the next event, the big team training if you don't have a local GMTSS, and also promote the next major convention. Because we always come in package. So we're going to promote World Conference. That's the next semester final. However, we're not going to wait until then. So we're going to tell them, don't you agree? It's much easier to go to a 2-day event and drivable distance locally in Northeast Regional, where you get to see the vision and you will know right away how much you enjoy this business and what you want to achieve, then it will give you the belief to not only go to the World Conference, but also to bring people that you want to help with you, okay? So, but we're not going to wait until November, don't you agree? Because time is everything. So we actually have a very successful, actually the winner of Market America's highest award, Jerry Sisliano Award, Gary Rogers, coming in town. And this gentleman, I really look up to him, and we had the privilege to actually fly down to our CEO's house in Miami, spend $1,000 each in order to participate and learn from him. But now you don't have to spend $1,000 and drive down to Miami. All you have to do is to join us in Flushing for a 5-6 hour training, and it's only $25, right? So that's how you promote. Then the person says, but this is still far from now. But I will also like you to join us and really evaluate the training of this business. Because I don't know about you, but for me, it's so important to know what the training of a company empowers me. Do they train me to become a salesperson, or do they train me to become a well-rounded leader and entrepreneur? So my first thing to evaluate, when I first evaluated, was the training. So we actually have a team training on Sunday afternoon from 1 to 5 in English, and I would love to invite you to join us and really see the ins and outs, the operations of a business, and what we do to build it, so that you can see whether you can benefit from all the information. So we promote all aspects, give them the option. So now they can feel like, if I don't go to that one, I would love to come to this one, okay? So book follow-up. Most important thing about booking follow-up is to write it down. Okay, book follow-up appointment. Most important thing is?
Write it down.
Write it down, schedule it in your calendar. Okay, so always have your calendar ready. When we book the follow-up, open up and write it down. Okay, oh, Yolanda, I know you're busy, and I really appreciate your time, by the way, for showing up today. And like we discussed, I would love to invite you back to the Sunday training, but from now until Sunday, we want to really follow up and answer your questions when your memory is still fresh. So when would be the best time, the soonest we can sit down, tomorrow or Wednesday? Okay, so nod and smile, right? Book the follow-up, and what I'm gonna do, I know you're busy. My God, I can't rely on my memory. I always have to write it down. So because I don't want to waste our time, so I write it down when we're meeting up for follow-up, and also Sunday, I also write down her name. You know what? It's a very limited space because we have so many partners coming in from all tri-state area. I want to make sure I can save you a seat. Okay, so can I count on you to show up on Sunday? Okay, so I can save you a front row seat. So that way, we booked what? Multiple times. So book the follow-up, schedule in your calendar. Okay, so we actually talked about this already. Let me just write it. Leverage the ABC pattern right here. Okay, to sell tickets. So last but not least, the tickets only sold when the money is collected. Now technology helps us so many ways. We have check, cash, Venmo, PayPal, Chase QuickPay, right? Square, Facebook.
Yep.
iTransact to swipe the credit card. Wow, that's like 10 ways to pay for $125. Okay? And I was talking to Uncle Tom, the leader of our Flushing Philadelphia team, right? And he's like, I am, almost a baby boomer, but I'm so well trained on all this technology because people send me money from all ways. He's showing me, look, Venmo, another transaction, Facebook, right? So, but that's what we need to do. Before we had all these technology transfer, we used to seriously drive people to the ATM, get the money, right? Get the cash, and then collect the money, then drop them off at home. That's why you bring your guests. You drive your guests. When they buy the ticket, you drive them to ATM, get the money, then you drop them off home, right? So, because why? It's not that we need the money right now, but if people don't pay, they will not have the commitment to show up, okay? So next, I wanted to really bring up one of our great business partner, someone who has also had created a lot of momentum, and not only himself, together with his leader, Chevy, and also the team in New Jersey, they went from not having consistent training to having consistent training on Wednesday and Thursdays, and also plugged into all New York training, whether it's Chinese or English, on the weekends, and travel to New York multiple times a week. And in the past, I would say for him, a year building the business very committedly, and also helped not only himself become great multiple times UFO challenge winner, but also his team recently just had 4 more new EC in the past 6 months after they stay consistent with the HBP, and created 2 top 10 challenge winner for the Mid-East Regional. So a lot of growth went from literally triple the team. So this time in Greensboro, how many people do you have? 28 people at Greensboro. That's tremendous growth. So I really wanted to have him share with you how they benefited from having HBP and having consistency, and how they were able to benefit, right? So help me welcome J-Rod!
Thank you, Olivia, for that gracious introduction. How are you all doing?
Great!
How are you feeling?
Great!
One more time?
Great!
All right. I gotta get that passion. Let's go, all right? Yeah, so my name is Jonathan Rodriguez. Currently live in New Jersey, working as an IT professional over there. I came back to this business last year in April, and I came back to build, to really change my family's environment, my team's environment, and help us grow. I think back to Region 2 of last year, and I asked Olivia, we had the desire to learn, to become leaders, to grow as a team. And in order to grow, you need to follow your leaders.
Yes.
And so my first question to Olivia was, what is it that we need to do to change our environment, to become a larger team that's creating income earners, and not only income earners, but creating leaders, right? And she said that the most important thing that you guys need to do and work on is consistency, right? So she said, you have to develop an HBP on a weekly basis. And I got it. The moment she said that, I said, okay, that's what we're lacking, that's what we're gonna do. And we started doing that on a weekly basis. We set up a schedule. Mondays were Koreans and Thursdays were HBPs. And on some cases, it started becoming 2 HBPs a week. And after International Convention last year, that's what we started to implement in New Jersey. So the team, when we first started, right, we had maybe 4 or 5 people showing up. And it was just partners, no guests. So we would have it scheduled, we show up, and 4 or 5 people, no guests. We were like, okay, most people would want to cancel, right? Because you have no guests, so you would do something else, or go do appointments. No, we took it as a moment to learn, to grow. And so what we did was we practiced, right? The 4 or 5 people that were there, we just practiced. And what we currently, so this is it right here. Benson would come.
Plus the dog.
Plus the dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, Benson would come, it would just be us 4.
The dog
We're
shows
the
up
only
every
partners. The dogs are always there,
Yep.
right? They're our bodyguards. So as you can see, it's just 4 partners, right? And we all know who they are, right? Mo, Shelly, Chevy, Benson, beautiful Benson. Swagger, right?
Yeah.
So it was just us 4 or us 5 showing up, right? No guests, and what we did, we took advantage and practiced, right? We would practice 2 or 3 times. The team started to grow. We had a couple of new partners come onto the team, but it was still the same environment. There wasn't guests. We weren't really getting guests out, so all we did was practice and continue to grow. And then when we got to Region 1, iron sharpens iron. So we work hard, really hard, all the time together. But at Region 1, we had, I sat down with Olivia. She drew out my organization and said, envision your organization in 6 months and where you're going to be by a world conference and then an international convention. And so she drew it out, and I don't know where these people were coming from. She just had X letters, or different type of letters, just symbolizing who these people were going to be, right? Taking the place of who they were going to be. And so we remained consistent. The team started to grow. As you can see, we're still sitting on the couches. Everyone's interacting, but this is one of our Koreans, and we have a few more partners now. All right, Alejandra is our newest EC, all right, and she's the one that Olivia was just speaking about, who had an IBB and a BB check at the same time, right? And then we continue to plug in, so she's coming out more. We had a new partner over there in Tyrone, and then we have some more guests. But as you can see, we have the table still in the middle, right? That table's still in the middle. So that's showing you that we're not that big yet, right? We're still growing. There's a lot of space. It's not really interactive. There's no energy. You can see that. There's not that many people. People are kind of slouching back. Shelly's on her phone. I don't know what she was doing. But after Region 1, we decided we're going to take it to the next level, right? And become very interactive, take a lot of action. And it led to some really great partners, some really great go-nows. And Adriana is one of them. Right, so we started to bring out more people, and now you can see that the table is no longer there.
Yeah.
Right, so there's no room, standing room only in most cases. In the room, usually it's just guests, maybe 1 or 2 partners to help people with time check, but we don't have room for everyone to be in the room. And now the environment's engaged. People come in, the emotion there, it's just very positive. Everyone's excited to be there to learn. Something that we started to say was we need to duplicate our large teams environment. And every time we come to Flushing, how is it? Full of energy, everyone's excited to be here. Everyone's showing each other that they care for one another. So that's exactly what we started doing our HBPs, right? The environment became like a smaller version of Flushing, right? Because you can never really bring the team environment fully, but you bring it there with that passion, and it starts with you as the leaders. And you start to duplicate that down to your partners. And the best way to grow is to show up.
Yes.
Right? Show up. If you're a go now, you have to show up. You have to be there. If you want to become successful, you have to show up.
Yes.
Right? If you have a guest, you show up because you have a guest. But if you don't have a guest, you show up even more because that's the time for you to learn. Right? That's your opportunity to grow and learn. And this is when we had about close to 40 people in that living room. Right, you saw the beginning slide was like 4 people, 5 people. It went to 40 something. Now the partners, if you're the older you are in the business, the further you go, right? Because over here is the kitchen to the left. So if you're like really seasoned, you stand in the kitchen and just listen from there and take notes, right? Everyone that's a newer partner stands and sits on the stairs, unless you're presenting. That's why you see Chevy. Yeah, that's Chevy right there. You see him smiling? Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So that environment is created and we duplicate it from our team. All right, and when you don't have a guest, you have to be there, you have to be engaged. Right, because you never know who promoted you to introduce you to their guest. Right, it's about collecting stories. And there's many times that we'll promote partners, and if they don't show up, who looks bad? The person that's inviting that guest out, right? Because you're banking on your partners to be there, to support the environment. So when you're there with no guests, you're there to learn, you're taking notes, you're practicing, right? At the meeting after meeting, you're really engaged, and you're giving feedback. And that's what started to help us grow, is that we started to do meeting after meeting, like we do here, and then providing feedback to the speakers after the event. It got to the point where the guests wanted to stay and give feedback as well. Right? They start to see how it is that we start to grow, and they just want to follow. They want to follow. There's something bigger than us, so they were like, yeah, I want to become successful. So then showing the plan is important. And we started to create a dominate within our team and environment, right? To the point where now we have partners that when they don't get to present, they get upset. Right? They're like, oh, I wanted it this week. And we're like, next week, show up, you're showing up. Right? So we started to own our UBPs in our local area. Right? We come in there, we have over 50% of the room. Right? Because the HBP started leading to more consistent attendance, and leading us to UBPs where we're plugging them into the GMTSS now.
Yes.
And now people started to want to learn more. They're seeing more recognition in the local area, and now people are traveling with us to New York to come to the Flushing events. And it's a beautiful thing to see once you see the commitment, because it allows you to see who you're going to focus on your team, what guests really want it, and how to follow up. And it's just showing the team right here, that's the growth. That's when we had 3 of the top 10 challenge winners on stage. This is our team in this, as we continue to go from World Conference to international. And last year, just want to share this. Last year we had 11 total members at International 2016, and this year we had 28. And we started to just take more consistent action and growing. And a mindset that we developed in our team is stay ready so you never have to get ready. right? So when you get asked to present, be ready. Be ready to go. Be ready to dominate and get in front of the stage, all right, and really own the room. A quick short-term goal is that I'm going to hit master by regional.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna have 4 new ECs.
Yes.
I'm gonna have 8 more coordinators. Okay. And Benson asked us the other day, how many people do you want for regional? And as the leaders are about to give out the numbers, I shouted out 40, and Chevy also shouted out 40 from our side. And I was like, wow, look at that, we're on track for the same number. And it just so happened that after the ticket counts, we had exactly 41 tickets that were purchased from our team. And all that came from everyone wanting to do more, wanting to grow themselves personally, right? Because they see the vision that the team has and what our leaders have. And I want to end it with this, right? Once you make a decision, you have allowed yourself to start getting out of that prison in your mind.
Yeah.
Okay? And once you made that decision, you start to write down your goals. You're taking the action on that decision that you made. All right? So write down your goals. Keep it somewhere where you can always see it, because it keeps you accountable. You're checking yourself every single day to grow. All right? Success isn't this astronomical thing. It's just following the blueprint that the leaders set in front of us. Right? So thank you guys for your time.
Can we give J-Rod another round of applause? And I think what J-Rod actually, I just wanted to pinpoint a few key things we do in order to be able to create momentum. First of all, it's always when you take ownership first, then the results will show. So when J-Rod decided to build this business, when we talked about having their own location, right away, you have to figure out the solution, right? Nobody has a space just empty so that we can do this business and host HBPs. So right away, J-Rod communicated with his family, and it takes a lot, right? Out of that family, honestly, because every time we host training, it's Susha since day one has been hosting HBPs. All the leaders, right? Hawaii started when Xiaofan decided to duplicate the HBPs.
Yes.
It's always when we having the environment. So, but when they open their home location, number one, they cannot cook the food they want that day. Okay? Because Chinese, our Monday and Friday, we don't eat seafood. We do not eat dumplings, right? Because my grandmother loves dumplings. If you don't know about that, every other day I come home, it's always dumplings. So my friends always ask me, where'd you eat, want to come out to dinner? I said, no, I'm going home to eat with my grandparents. They're like, oh, you're going to eat dumplings again? I said, yes, how'd you know, right? Because 9 out of 10 times it's dumplings, so we're from the north. But dumpling is, when we make it, it's a little smelly, okay? But it tastes great, okay? So we cannot cook the food we want, right? And my grandparents, they cannot watch the TV that they love to watch because they have to lower down the volume, they cannot distract, and even my dog has to be locked upstairs, right? But he knows, my dog is not a very, very easy to deal with dog because he's got a lot of health challenge, okay? However, he knows every Monday and Friday night when we have training, he knows by 8 o'clock, he never comes downstairs. By 10:30, he will know that the meeting should be over. And he can come down. And he would actually sneak down and be like, oh, okay, I guess he knows the time is already there. Even my dog knows to clock in, clock out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
7:30, he goes upstairs and stays upstairs. He doesn't come down until 10:30, 11. So even my dog is well trained. What about us, right? So, but really, back to J-Rod and New Jersey's growth, they were also the one that opened up. J-Rod and his mom is so cooperative because his mom benefited tremendously from our products. Used to have carpal tunnel, right? And a lot of joint and bone and muscle pain. And she used to have to wear wristbands going to sleep every night. But the product completely solved that issue, so she has belief in the products and even registered a business, become a business partner with him. And because of that belief, she understands why he does the business and open up the home. So it's a beautiful living room. They remove all the tables each time, put up the whiteboard each time. So it's a lot of preparation. It's a lot of cleaning. And the neighbors, we have to make sure there's no complaints. So always thank the person who's willing to open up their homes, right? In order for our team to grow. So that's why we say our team wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Chase, not only opening up his basement, he had a great tenant for more than 10 years living there. And in order for him to have a location, he made a decision right away. Get rid of the tenants, right? And then tell them to find their own own home, and then not only lose more than $1,000 or more a monthly rent, correct? That's income. And he also spent a couple of $1,000 extra in order to revamp and renovate some stuff, put a TV there, put some redo the floors, everything. So that's called ownership and leadership. Don't we agree? So because of that location, we went from just 4, 5, 6 of us, and we packed his room to the point where the floor has water drops on there in the summer. That's how humid our body heat created. We were like sticky wet next to each other. And one time I was showing the plan, so excited, 2 liter, 2 liter, 2, and when I turned around, I disappeared. Because it was so slippery on those very heels, and I slipped, right? And I slipped, like it was very, very narrow because we had so many people. We had to move the table so close to the speaker. And I well, I didn't get hurt, but I poked a hole on my dress, on my butt. Luckily, it was a polka dot dress, so nobody could tell. So that's a great experience, like something we always laugh and talk about all the time. That's how humid our basement became, because we have so many people. But isn't that what we want? And from there, now it branched out to our own office location in Flushing, and many, many, many home HBPs everywhere. So really, can we give J-Rod another round of applause? Okay. And the next topic we wanted to duplicate with everyone is really, we talked about when we first opened, right? Few things we focus on today. Number 1 is duplication. And we talked about what can be duplicated, right? Buying, selling tickets can be duplicated. HBP can be duplicated. Used massive products can be duplicated. And another thing very important is team culture. So if we can duplicate team culture, then people become so much more coachable. And you look at one partner, you understand this person is from Flushing team. Okay, it's so interesting when I traveled to Spain to do training, when I went to Singapore to do training, when I went to UK to do training, everywhere, I realized, everybody, I can tell who's from Flushing team. I can tell who's from Flushing team. Because the way they learn, the way they want to learn so much knowledge, their eyes, their focus, very different. And their positive attitude is very different. So what I always tell the team is so funny. And after training, they come to me and be like, Olivia, I want to introduce myself. I'm from so-and-so, I'm from Flushing team. I said, I already knew, because I can tell from your attitude of learning and your culture. Right? So actually, before I bring Benson up, I wanted to demonstrate the importance of practicing fundamental, right? So I actually didn't plan this. I just asked Adri, can you come up? And also Helen, okay? And show, did you bring your 4 quadrants? Yeah? So everybody here, we always duplicate writing the plan 100 times. I think we talked about this in our meeting after the meeting, right? Show the plan 100 times, and when would you like to master the plan? So I didn't ask these people. Adri is the brand new executive coordinator as of last Friday. Brand new, and she's she went to Miami World Conference as a guest. Come over here actually, because the webinar. She went to Miami as a guest, not knowing what to expect. But today she's going back 6 months to international convention, and she hit executive coordinator. So that's a great growth, and she was also top 10 at the regional, Mid-East regional. A challenge winner, top 10 challenge winner. So this is what we duplicate, right? Showing the plan. And how often do you show it? Every day?
Yes.
Once every day?
Once every day.
Once every day. And everybody shows the plan from 45 verses 2 to 3, right? These are material what we do in HBP, isn't that true? And also 4 cornerstone, 8 engines, right? To remember the themes of conversing the business, 5 steps, and showing the plan on paper. How many people have seen new guests come here, look at UBP PowerPoint presentation, that's all great, but then they don't get it. Only when we show them circle after circle after circle, 100%, infinity, no level, then find, this is how the plan works. So there's writing the plan, so everybody duplicates showing the plan, then you can show it with PowerPoint but mostly in HBP, at least in my HBP, we always do handwriting, okay? And also that's Shoshana, also one of our very dedicated, relatively new business partner. She also shows, right? How often do you do it?
We got two times a day.
2 times a day, very good. Want to master that fundamental. Helen also just quit her full-time job for the advertising. And that was the goal we set when we went to cruise, right, Miami, and went to cruise training. And she owned all the fundamental, building this business, and now she's really committed. Just burn a bridge and quit her 6-figure income job as of the